everybody. How y'all doing there? Hey, yeah, so it's me. I'm, if you recall, last time Chelsea said she would be in Chicago, and Chicago, of course, has no technology. So Chelsea,
Apparently.
yes, Chicago is actually a lawless wasteland where people eat lasagna and call it pizza. Because, hey, people of Chicago, I'm sorry, but that's not real pizza. Anyway, I should not bang on the table because that will end up on the mic. Okay.
Sure will.
So anyway, I'm here with Rose Blood from Cut Like This. So, hello, Rose.
Oh, man. I did not know that we were going to be on video today. So I am...
You look fine. You look wonderful.
Oh, I am so not... Ooh.
It's
next
not like...
Next time you must warn me of this ahead of time.
Okay, it's not like you have the cool background I have right now, but, this is my new look where I'm putting my hair in my face to annoy people. So, we're going to talk about the week in women's wrestling. The week that was. So,
that was. All right, let me get my...
We're going to talk, unfortunately, because of a situation that we've spoken about previously, I'm not going to be able to speak about AEW or Impact. I'll be honest with you, I don't miss not watching AEW.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I haven't seen it.
It was definitely not my favorite of the ones that we...
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a few weeks, and I haven't missed it. I'm not, like, saying to myself, oh my god, I'm missing Nyla Rose versus Britt Baker. Like, I'm not really concerned with that.
I got you.
I know Impact has gotten a bunch of new people. Impact just got... Chelsea Green came back there. Mickie James showed up. But they're also losing people again. They lost Kiera Hogan, who just posted that it's her last taping of Impact. So that means they lose another tag team.
Yeah.
So
there's not much left over there.
No, there's only 2 tag teams in Impact. It's Rosemary and Havoc, and then Jordan Grace and Rachel Erling, and that's literally all the tag teams they have. They have the exact same problem that Raw and SmackDown have.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Raw and SmackDown have one team. One team each.
That's just not right, man. Not right.
It's hilarious to me that they had a number 1 contenders match when, for Shotzi and Tegan. Because who else is the number 1 contender? SmackDown. What other team exactly is the number 1 contender? We'll get into that as we go on the show, but I wanted to kind of rant about that for a little bit. Like, I love that there's women's tag team champions, but if there's no one to compete for it, if there's only one team,
it's not a competition anymore.
Yeah,
and every other team is just some random mashing of 2 wrestlers together.
Yeah, but I mean, they broke up Mandy and Dana. I didn't like them, but they were at least a team. So they broke up Mandy and Dana. So there's no more Mandy and Dana. They broke up Naomi and Lana because they fired Lana. Once again, I don't like them, but they were a team. They fired the Iconics. They fired Ruby Riott.
Yeah.
So there's no more Riott Squad.
Matches up Riott Squad, yeah.
Yeah, so now you've got Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. And you've got Shotzi and Tegan, who they literally just put back together like a week ago.
Yep.
And I'll say that, watching it was interesting to watch with an audience.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of, I'm not going to lie, that was kind of nice to see.
Yeah, but I'll say the thing is that Shotzi and Tegan are not really over with that audience, and because you just kind of said, hey, here's 2 random people, and now they're the number 1 contenders, and not everyone watches NXT. So, but I guess we'll just start with SmackDown since I'm already ranting about it.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so
Indeed.
And I love Tegan and I love Shotzi, but the fact is that for an audience to get into them, there's a couple things you need them to do.
Yeah.
Number 1, it's beat other teams. they really need to beat other teams, not just the tag team champions.
Yeah.
And they also need to speak.
True.
So people because for people who aren't like us, people who don't watch NXT, they just see, oh, there's some random green-haired girl in a tank, and then there's Captain Marvel. And who are they? Why should I care about them? Why am I cheering for them? And they don't really let them do very much spectacular. They let them get in 3 moves in the match, and then the rest of it was all, hey, let's focus on Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega. And
which is it was novelty because they were, back, and it's like, oh, it's anytime somebody new comes in, it's always they always do make a big about it. But
but it's still they don't really get to show who they are. They don't get to show why you should like them.
Yeah.
I love that they let Shotzi do the welcome to the ball pit thing. That will get over if they let her keep jumping on people's crotches after yelling that a bunch of times. I think Vince will probably love that. Because that's totally Vince McMahon's sense of humor.
It is, it is.
But otherwise, I fear that, they're not going to get over because they're not giving them anyone to get over with.
Yeah, that could really be a big problem, and I don't know what they're going to do about that, if they're even going to address it, because we have seen, they're not always the greatest at giving any burn to tags. I don't know why. Yeah. Why do they disrespect tag teams so much? Tag teams can be so much fun and such a different thing to see, especially when they are an actual tag team and they have tag moves together. You know what I mean? That makes such a difference, and it really breaks up okay, one person versus one person versus, you know what I mean? Over and over again.
Yeah, it definitely does, but at the same time, once again, no one would have cared about the Dudley Boys if the Dudley Boys hadn't gone through all their feuds.
Yes. Absolutely.
If you just brought the Dudley Boys in and it's okay, now they're going for the world title, and we'll be like, who are these 2 random guys? Why is there a guy in in overalls with glasses taped together? Who gives a shit about them? But it was through seeing that and through putting all the women through tables and all the crazy shit they did that eventually made the Dudley... Because I think the Dudley Boys are probably the only tag team that Vince has ever let, main event.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like that's very possible.
Yeah. Because I can't think of any other tag teams that have ever main evented anything. And, we had Edge and Christian and we had the Hardy Boys, but those were in matches with the Dudleys. So, I think that's the only team that Vince ever really become main eventers. But even then, they had to earn that place. They had to get there. They had to get over with the audience. And I fear you're wasting Shotzi and Tegan by not having any way for them to do that. If you're just well, there's a new team. They're going to fight the tag team champions. You should cheer for them.
Yeah.
No. That said, I do like Shotzi shooting the tank into the audience.
Yeah, that was cool.
I feel like they can do T-shirts and shit from the tank.
Yeah, that would be sweet if they could. I mean, I don't see why not. It shouldn't, but
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
also
see.
not the person who constructed it.
We'll see. I know Chelsea and I are really looking forward to September 10th. I don't know if you heard, but we're going to Madison Square Garden.
Oh, hell yeah!
Yeah, for the Smackdown taping. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
So hopefully Shotzi and Tegan will be there. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
I know what a big fan you are. So.
Yeah. So let's
see her in person.
So let's go into the next match because there's also problems I had with this one.
All right, let's hear about what problems you have.
Well, I don't care about Carmella.
I've told you in the past, I'm into Carmella. I like her. I think that she's grown a lot from when she first started out. And if she annoys you, that means that she's doing her job because that's exactly what she's supposed to be.
She doesn't even annoy me. I just don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. I like her. Her antics amuse me.
Yeah.
But, honestly, if you want to talk about the level of the competitors, Bianca Belair versus Carmella, come on, it's...
Well, yeah, that's another thing I have the problem with. I'm so Bayley, who held the whole fucking division on her back for 15 months, tears her ACL, and the best substitute you can give is Carmella.
Yeah, yeah, that was a little bit but I was impressed with um Carmella getting Bianca into a surprisingly legit guillotine. I was like, "What? Carmella did a what?" I was not expecting that at all. That was so it was good to see that she did
Yeah,
try to do her best to train up to look good out there with
yeah,
I mean, and obviously Bianca is such an accomplished athlete. She can make
yeah,
anybody look good, So I actually was I enjoyed the fight, even though it was in reality it's nonsensical because there's no
yeah,
way that Carmella doesn't lose to Bianca Belair of all people, but it was still fun to see, and it was nice to see that Carmella has tried to step up her game
yeah,
because there's plenty of wrestlers that we have seen that have been around for a minute now. And you don't see any kind of improvement. So when
yeah,
she got into that guillotine, I was like, "Oh damn, okay."
yeah.
Like,
Talking about Naomi and Dana Brooke aside, I feel like there's still the thing is though is SmackDown used to have people up until they fired everyone this fucking year. They had Chelsea Green, they had Santana Garrett, they had Ruby Riott, they had like Billy Kay, they had all these people they could have built.
yeah,
And
I
instead,
know.
they were just like, well, Bailey knows what she's doing. Let's just only push Bailey and ignore everybody else exists. And I love Bailey. But
Yeah,
you could have been, this whole time, you could have been building up all those women they fired instead.
yeah. I don't know why.
Mia Yim they have Mia Yim's contract. Where the hell is Mia Yim?
Yeah. Who
You
knows?
know, well, I certainly would rather see Mia Yim versus Bianca than Carmella versus Bianca.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah,
100%.
well, I will say I'm glad that you like the Carmella versus Bianca match because you're getting it again tonight.
Mm.
They're doing a rematch again because that's the match everyone was waiting for.
Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one everyone wants to see.
That's
Sure.
that's certainly a feud that everyone wanted. Everyone saw that match and was like, "I need this to continue." Ugh.
Uh,
My God,
Oh,
Tony
man.
Storm can't get there fast enough.
yeah. I was really happy to see the Tony Storm promo. Although I was also apprehensive because
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
I mean, well, at least she's not on Raw.
yeah, this is true. This is true. At
Yeah.
least this way she has a fighting chance.
Yeah.
So,
Because
I'm
Raw have already just destroyed Rhea already.
I don't know. It's just
We'll
Yeah,
talk
Raw-
about that when we get to the Money
we'll
in the
get to
Bank.
it.
But
We'll get to it.
but
Okay,
Raw have just mishandled Rhea so incredibly badly. And honestly, and I'll say it, I'm so conflicted about Nikki, I guess Ash now.
Yeah.
Because it's a dumb gimmick. I hate the gimmick.
It is a dumb gimmick, but I'm surprised that like the audience is into it though. Like they like this gimmick. It seems like she's going over with it regardless somehow, but it is a little bit.
Yeah, but
I don't know what to think about it.
On the other hand, though, on Money in the Bank, she wasn't really over. I think it's more that people were happy she beat Charlotte than happy that Nikki was the one who did it.
I was happy.
Because if you listen, she came out to almost no response at Money in the Bank. People really loved... I think the audience were all behind Liv. They really wanted Liv to win. To a lesser extent, they were into Alexa.
Yeah.
Who I really didn't want to win.
Oh God, no! But wait, we're getting off topic right now.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, so
let's get back to that when we get officially into some Money in the Bank. Because I have a lot of thoughts about Money in the Bank.
Yeah. So let's go to NXT UK.
Okay, we're going to NXT UK. Let's do it.
Yeah. So we get Subculture hanging out in their living room.
Yeah. Spray painting the wall as chavs do. You know what? I gotta say, I feel like the first time that I saw Dani Luna, I didn't know what to think of her, but I do like this new look that she has going on with Subculture, and I feel like they can really lean into like that thuggy chav kind of personality
Yeah.
kind of thing, you know.
Well,
so,
she's supposed to be all like kind of punk.
Yeah,
And- Yeah, and Flash Morgan Webster is supposed to be a mod, which is hilarious because I don't think there have been mods since the 1960s. And Mark Andrews is like a skater.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So if they're coming off as chavs, then they're doing it wrong.
Yeah, well, they came off a little bit, you know, a little too clean to be punk to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, that's a no, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
Ruby Riot.
Yeah, no, Ruby Riot legit
you know what I mean?
looks like someone who's a punk.
Yeah, she looks like somebody that we would have like played shows with and stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And she's like even honestly like even she reminds me a little bit of Ammo actually look wise.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
But
I could totally see that.
Yeah, but she she's changed her name to Ruby Soho now.
Okay.
And which is a Rancid song. And Lars Frederiksen apparently gave her the rights to use that as her theme now.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, he wrote her on Twitter and was like, "Hey, you know, I'll talk to my people if you want to use that as your theme."
That's dope, actually.
Yeah.
I kind of love that.
Yeah, so wherever she goes, she has the right to use that song as her theme song and call herself Ruby Soho.
I'm into that. That's really cool.
Which is real cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so I don't know, like Danny Luna always just seems like British Jordan Grace to me.
Yeah, a little bit. I could see that.
Yeah.
Whenever you describe anything to me, like it's so annoying because then that's it. That becomes like the new interpretation of whatever that is permanently in my head. So thanks for that, Charles. Thanks.
Well, you're welcome. So Subculture is gonna fight Pretty Deadly.
Yes.
And if they win, they become 2-time champions. And we'll see if Danny actually stays outside the ring or if she just heads to the back like she always does.
Yeah, I mean, they assured them that they wouldn't, but I feel like they will. So.
Well, to me, it's like, why do you have a faction if everyone isn't going to stay outside the ring?
That's the whole point.
So, I don't know. So, okay, so we got Aoife Valkyrie.
Yeah, Aoife Valkyrie in a really cool, awesome feather shoulder action thing in the promo talking about Meiko Satomura.
Yeah. No, she's talking about Ginny.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm getting I got my notes mixed up, my bad. I'm thinking about Meiko because
well, we'll get to Meiko in a minute. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And then there's Amal, the French Hope.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the Aoife the Valkyrie promo first.
So, what did you think about it?
Well, I mean, I like Aoife. I like that Aoife, for some reason, hers always have this weird production value that like nobody else's promos have.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. Actually,
she has her own crew or something that just hang out with her like backstage.
Yeah, and it's very like music video lighting, like you know what I mean, like
like she just has like a gaffer and a director that like are her friends or something that just always set up like her like stuff for her. But you know, I'm definitely looking forward to Ginny versus Aoife Valkyrie. You know, Aoife, I really think Aoife needs like the redemption story of after losing her first match to Meiko Satomura. I think she needs to kind of redeem herself and get more wins, and then fight Meiko again. And I would actually have her lose the next match against Meiko. And then she would have to fight one more time, and then at a big takeover is when she'd actually beat Meiko and become the NXT Women's Champion.
That would really make it matter.
Yeah.
So that would be great to see that occur, but we'll have to wait and see. Actually decide.
Yeah, well, thankfully this is not the Raw and SmackDown writers, so
True.
sometimes the people in NXT and NXT UK actually make sense with the things they do.
Yes.
You know. So now let's go to Amal versus Meiko Satomura. I really like the new gear on Amal.
Yes, I thought that her gear was cool. I have no negative notes, but I have plenty of other negative notes about all the other stuff.
Really?
There's a lot. as we go down.
what I'll say that I've found very interesting is that this is a match between two people, neither of which are from the UK, wrestling over the UK Championship.
That is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it made me realize. It made me realize somewhere in the UK there is some asshole who voted for Brexit who's really pissed off, who changed the channel in anger.
Probably, yes.
Yeah, so talk about this match. What is it you did not like?
Well, this match, no, I enjoyed this match, actually. I was really into Mako's physicality. She's very, like, just, you could tell, I mean, just look at her. Her thighs are, like, super muscular and, like, massive, and her kicks are so aggressive. She's, like, a super aggressive striker, and she was just laying into them all, like, just throughout, just breaking her down constantly with these heavy, really aggressive kicks. And I just like that. I like that she feels very, like, real. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh man, you getting beat. You know what I mean? Like, it's about to go down.
Well, there's a reason that they call her the final boss. So
exactly, which is how cool of a freaking name is that? The final boss. Like, oh yeah. So I'm a fan of Mako ever since you guys were the ones that put me on.
Yeah.
Actually watching NXT UK and no, she is super impressive. So I found what I didn't like is I found that Amal was a little too screamy for my taste, and this is from a woman who loves female
I love that
screamers.
She was so vocal.
It was just a little too screechy after a while, and it was constant. I feel like she just needs to rein it in just a little bit. I like the aggression. Aggression is always good, but it was just like the pitch of it and the constantness that I couldn't take.
Yeah.
After a while, I became annoyed by it.
I think you just don't like that she's French.
I have nothing against the French.
But you know the funny thing, and I was realizing this about Mako Satomura matches, is that when you face Mako, it's not really about the match itself. It's about how you survive against her.
Yes, exactly.
That's what's impressive about how. That's how you can impress someone in a Mako Satomura match. Is you will most likely lose, but it's how you lose.
I did think that Amal really, she didn't just like immediately go down jobber style. Like she really did. She really took a lot. It took a lot to put her down. So she was putting that work in, and I always appreciate that amongst any wrestler that I watch.
I think one of my favorite parts is when she was trying to power through when she was getting kicked by Mako, but then it just became too much.
Yeah.
But like when she was trying to just be like, whatever, I'll take it, and then it's like, oh fuck, those are really, really hard.
For real. Those kicks, man, those kicks. I was just, and the constant submissions too. It was just like, I got you now. Oh, I got you now. Oh, I got you this way. It was just.
Yeah.
It was just great to watch.
I also love that Mako, when she wins, she slaps herself in the face. That's her celebration.
The finishing move.
Yeah.
The finishing move is appropriate for the final boss. That scorpion kick, like, bam! Like, come on. Yeah, that was so cool. Like,
and then she does Scorpio Rising, and it's fucking crazy. But
it was super cool.
I was very happy with that match. It was a nice showing from Amal, even though she lost. But so let's go to NXT proper.
NXT proper.
Yep. I also love, by the way, before we finish up, that Mako kind of yells at the camera and challenges everyone watching at home to a fight. And and I was kind of like, I'm not taking that. Fuck no.
Nope.
I'm not challenging Mako Satomura. She'd kick my ass.
For real. just vicious, and like and the timbre of them, even like just when you hear her kicks versus other people's kicks, you just hear that they're hitting harder, because it's just like wham, like it was so good.
Well, there's a reason that like Sasha Banks, like when she took her time off, like went to Japan to train with Mako Satomura.
Yeah.
Before they brought her into NXT UK, like Sasha went off to just train with this person because she's just that legendary.
Exactly.
You
So
know,
her reputation is well earned.
yeah.
The pleasure to see her kick the crap out of people and tear them apart.
If you ever want to see something
Very
really
nice.
interesting, I don't know if it's on Peacock. It was on the WWE Network, but looking at Mako's matches from WCW in the '90s is really fascinating because she's like 20 then and nowhere near as intimidating as she is now, and it's just like really, and she's all like kind of smiley, and it's like you look at her and it's like this is before life like beat the joy out of her and made her realize what a fucking vicious badass she could actually become when she stopped like smiling and waving at everybody.
Oh man.
But it's really fascinating to watch, actually. I don't know if it's on Peacock anymore because Peacock is so hard to actually look shit up.
Yeah, I am not a fan of Peacock at all.
No. I couldn't even look up fucking War Games. Like
I just super dislike it, and I dislike the commercials too.
Yeah.
Like, I paid for this.
Yeah.
Why are you showing me commercials?
Like I wanted to show my friend NXT War Games, and it took me 10 minutes to find it. Like I had to look through the NXT section, and then I had to go to the takeovers, and then I had to go to that particular year, and it's like Jesus Christ, guys! Like just I can't go in, and you can't just put War Games into the search function.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it's such a step back from what the WWE Network was, because the WWE Network was so convenient. You could just put up fucking wrestler's name in there.
Yeah.
And it would show you all of their matches, and it was fucking
awesome.
great. Yeah.
It was miles and miles above it.
Yeah. Like, Peacock just allowed you to start pausing on pay-per-views, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. It's like, come on.
Not to mention, their signal went out during Money in the Bank. And was stuttering so bad, I never watched the men's Money in the Bank match or the main event.
Oh wow!
Because I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna deal with this."
That's trash.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So fucking NBC, get your shit together.
Damn. All right. So going back to NXT.
Yep.
We started with Ember Moon doing a tweet supporting and congratulating Shotzi. And it's Ember versus Dakota Kai, which is a fun match. What did you think about it?
Which I'll say that means there's also one less team in NXT. Once again, every federation seems to be losing their women's tag teams because now we lost the Fire Pit.
Yeah.
And at the end, it looked like we also lost the Robert Stone brand team too.
Yeah, we'll see. They haven't really clarified that part, but
yeah, we'll get to that. But it certainly looks like Aaliyah and Jessie Kamea are no more. And the rumor is that Aaliyah's been traded up to Raw.
Oh, really?
That Mandy Rose and is actually a trade.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but which is, by the way, it's kind of crazy that Aaliyah would finally be on the main roster.
Yeah, after all this time.
Because Aaliyah started with Bayley and Sasha and Becky and Charlotte, and has just been a jobber in NXT for like the last 6 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. Apparently, when Vince McMahon went down to the Performance Center, he was impressed with Aaliyah and decided to have her brought up.
Huh.
So, interesting to see if Aaliyah ends up on Raw. But we'll talk about her when we get to the match. So, I enjoyed this match. I always like these two. I mean, I'll say I like these two now. I hated Perky Werewolf Ember Moon.
Yeah, no, but her time with Shotzi definitely
it improved her
out
character
a lot.
So much.
Yeah, to the point where seeing Shotzi with somebody else, I actually kind of missed Ember a little bit. I was like, oh, I kind of miss Ember now. Actually, they did become like a team to me, and I realized it.
Yeah, well, the crazy thing is that Tegan and Shotzi were a team previously before Tegan got injured.
Yeah.
But none of us remember it because Shotzi and Ember were so good of a team.
Yeah.
But Tegan and when Bayley and Sasha were the tag team champions, when they went to NXT, they defended against Shotzi and Tegan.
Oh,
which
it
I
makes
had to
sense.
look up because I had totally even forgotten that had happened.
Yeah, me too. It's been a minute. You know what I mean?
But yeah, no. But I think I think Shotzi did so much to improve Ember Moon.
Hmm?
Like the fans are behind Ember. There's like, yeah, I mean, because that's the thing is like when Ember Moon was the NXT Women's Champion, it was considered to be the worst period of NXT women. Because really nobody cared about the division for like those few months before they started bringing in Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross and all them. Nobody cared about the division during Ember Moon's reign. And I think the fact that none of us could tell what the fuck Ember Moon's gimmick was supposed to be was a big part of that, too.
Yeah. Like you said, the happy werewolf thing didn't really work, you know?
She came out like looking like somebody from Hidden Shadows, but was all like, hey, I'm Ember Moon. You know? And it was like, that doesn't fit at all. That'd be like if fucking The Undertaker just put, hey, dudes, what's up? You know, like when he was in, you know, it wouldn't have worked.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God, imagine old school 90s Undertaker, but he talks like Matt Riddle. Like, no one would have liked that character. People would have just been confused as to what the fuck is going on here.
Oh, my God.
He's like the surfer goth. You know, so I really think that they helped, Shotzi really helped define Ember's character, and I really like that. And at the same time, I love Dakota Kai.
Yeah, of course. Dakota Kai is amazing. And it's funny because I was talking to somebody recently about, you know, Alexa Bliss's moveset I feel has always been pretty weak. And, and it's like, you know, you have to recognize that you have to do a lot if you're somebody that is that small. You know what I mean? And I'm like, but then it's like, then you see people like Io Shirai and Dakota Kai, and they're tiny, but they're like powerhouses. You know what I mean?
Well, in fairness, none of them are as small as Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss is super tiny.
But also, if you want to go in fairness, there's one person who's the same height as Alexa Bliss. And she's amazing, and that's Kacy Catanzaro.
Yes, very true. And she actually is a pretty similar build, too.
Yeah. Well, she is, like, I don't really want to, like, judge their bodies, but she is, like, she's less muscular than Alexa is, but she still does some really crazy, like, acrobatic stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I love the little acrobatic exchange at the beginning. I love that, like, Ember Moon just keeps kipping up every 3 seconds.
Yeah. And I liked when there was Dakota knocks Ember off the top rope, and Ember just sells the hell out of getting knocked off. It was just it was just like this like super, and it was just like I was like, there you go, Ember. Like I've always thought that she was such a great athlete, you know, and I felt like the only thing that was missing was just a little bit more character, and I really feel like you said, that Shotzi really helped sharpen the perception of who she is as a character to the point where now she can move with this extra bit of confidence and this extra bit of theatricality. And and I was into it. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
And you know, like I didn't even mind like you know, this was a match I liked both people, so I'm fine with either of them winning. Dakota won.
Yes.
And I thought it was, you know, really cool. Then the lights go out.
Yeah. And out comes Xia Li looking like a combat villain, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm super into that, actually. I love that. I love her whole new look and her aggression so much. You know that I am a fan of heels and villains forever.
Yeah.
And,
I love that Dakota Kai goes to get in her face and she just ignores Dakota Kai completely.
Yes. All she had eyes for was Raquel. She was all about it, you know, and she was just like, you're just like tiny, barely an obstacle in my way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this week I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, but we get Raquel versus Xia Li for the title. Which
that's going to be a super fun fight. I predict that it is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'll probably watch that after we're done with the podcast because, I'm excited for that. So
I'm excited as well.
So we get Samoa Joe talking to Karrion Kross. Right before the week before Karrion Kross is just destroyed on Raw by losing in a minute and a half to Jeff Hardy. Thank you, Vince. You guys are just great bookers, as I can tell.
They really are.
I'll just say my little personal opinion here is I think that's just Bruce Pritchard being a piece of shit. I really think that it just seems like it reeks of fucking politics to me. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because they brought Karrion Kross on there. They don't give him his intro. They don't give him Scarlett. And then Jeff Hardy beats him in a minute and a half.
That's lame.
That's how you debut a character like Karrion Kross on Raw.
I mean, and such a well-realized character with so much thought and so much effort and so much, like, just super on-point character work. You know what I mean? It's like, let me just take this beautiful dessert that you've put in front of me, and I'm just gonna fucking, you know what I mean? Just crush it, you know? Like,
it really, like, it's one of the reasons why we're not covering Raw, because, like, I can't take that show. It's fucking awful. It's fucking awful. I'm sorry.
It's just...
and that's why I said, like, there's no one in NXT that I want to see go up to Raw.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a single person, because they don't know how to book anyone. They just ruin everybody.
At least if they go to SmackDown, there's a chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if they go to Raw, it's like, oh, it's so dicey.
Like, that's the thing. Like, the people on SmackDown that were complaining aren't there. They're not there because they got fired, not because they were mishandled. Like, there's nobody on SmackDown who I thought, oh, man, they're using them wrong. On Raw, it's pretty much almost everyone.
Yeah.
I look at it and I'm like, what the fuck are they doing?
But anyway, going back to NXT.
Yeah.
We've got Zoe Stark and Io Shirai, little promo of them becoming tag champs. Mm-hmm. And Samoa Joe tells the Way not to interfere in the next fight. And bumps into Pete Dunne on the way out.
Well, we're not even up to that yet. We're not even up to that. We're at the Way just arriving.
Yes. Okay. My bad.
Yeah, where Beth Phoenix goes and talks to Indy about what happened with Dexter. I'll say I hate to say anything bad about Beth Phoenix, but I don't know who the fuck did her makeup.
Oof.
I don't know what the hell was going on there. Either that or she was like running out in the goddamn California sun for an hour after getting her makeup put on. But no, don't let Beth Phoenix go on TV with makeup that looks like that.
Yeah, sometimes, I don't know. I don't know what goes on. If it's like that there's not enough makeup people and then they had to do their makeup themselves or something like that, you know, and like they don't usually, wear makeup that heavy in their normal life or something like that, you know what I mean? But yeah, sometimes people come out looking all kinds of crazy and I'm like, who did this? Who did this travesty?
Well, do you remember, were you watching NXT when Dana Brooke was in NXT? Because
yeah, she often had, for such an attractive girl, she would often have like this really like drag queeny, like, but not in a good way.
Yeah, like back
not well done drag queen.
Yeah,
like,
my ex and I used to joke that like the makeup artist for Dana Brooke was just that fucking shotgun from The Simpsons with the makeup in it. Because holy shit, did they just like make her look like, oh my god, they just caked it on her.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I remember when people thought that Billie Kay had all sorts of plastic surgery because she just had so much makeup on.
Yeah.
That it made her look fake. And like, that's just her natural face, but with so much makeup on it, it looked like she had heavy, heavy plastic surgery going on.
Yeah, and then when they dialed it back, you were like, oh, actually, no, she's just...
Yeah, so I don't know what the hell was going on with the makeup or lighting or whatever the hell it was, but Beth Phoenix, don't let a legend like Beth Phoenix look like that on fucking television, guys.
I'm saying, it's disrespectful. It really is. Yeah. Come on.
So she says that Dexter Lumis put her down and that they, that they wanted to get closer, but it wasn't the right time. Okay. So, the story of Index will continue.
Index will continue. I'm all about it.
So now we get one of my favorite people, Gigi Dolan. By the way, her theme just sounds like someone did an epic cover of Marilyn Manson's version of Sweet Dreams.
Right? That's what I thought too. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you thought the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, like,
I thought I was going a little. I was like, am I just bugging or? Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
like the riffs are the same. It's just got more instruments and more stuff going on.
Yeah.
But it really just sounds like someone took Sweet Dreams and was like, let's make this really epic. But I love Gigi. Gigi, like when she was Priscilla Kelly, was like one of my favorites on the indies. So I'm really happy to see her getting TV time.
Yes.
So-
Especially on a brand like NXT instead of, as we said, Raw or someplace like that.
She was actually, when she was married to Darby Allin in AEW wanted to bring her in, and she said no.
Really?
Because they didn't want to bring her in as a wrestler. They just wanted her to be fucking Darby's manager.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was like, no, I want to fucking be, I want to wrestle.
Yeah, that's a waste.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, and then they ended up divorced. So imagine if they had brought her in, and then she would have absolutely nothing to do if they get fucking divorced.
Yeah.
That
would have been bad.
So, what did you think of this match? Oh, and I also want to comment on Saray's happy as all fuck theme.
Yes, what do you think about that theme? Because I find it a little happy. Like, I don't know. I don't associate happy sounding music with like a wrestler in general because it's just not. It's lacking in aggression.
It makes it seem like she should be like drawn in a chibi style.
Yeah.
That's the impression I get of her. But yeah, before I go into my opinions of this, what did you think of this match?
I want to hear your opinion because I could see them in your eyes about to flood out of your face. So
I'm not feeling Saray. I'm not into her.
It's funny because I was feeling like I remember the promos when they were just about to bring her in and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be crazy, and her first fight I thought was really good, but then I did kind of feel like that too with this one, but I didn't want to be the one.
Yeah,
So
like
you said
literally all of my notes are about Gigi.
Yeah.
Like, because she was the one I was paying attention to, because she did so many cool things in this. Like, her reversals, and, like, her aggression, and, like, like, all the different things she did that I thought were so cool. And then I liked the little drop kick she did that looked like she beheaded fucking Gigi. And that was it. And then her weird side suplex that looks like a botch, but apparently that's just how she does a suplex.
Yeah, it's that can use some work. I'm not super into that one. I do like the aggression of her kicks in general. Like there's certain moments where you're like, oh my god, like again, going back to the first time that I saw her fight, I was like, oh my god, she just took this girl's head off, like clean off. You know what I mean? Like it was rough and tumble, and I liked it. But I felt I agree with you. I think Gigi. But again, that goes back to what you were saying before. As far as when, even when somebody's not going to win, they can still win if their fight is like impressive. And I thought that was a perfect example of that happening.
Yeah. And we got Mandy Rose coming out looking like she's scouting people. So who knows if she's forming like a stable or something. Or being part of the Robert Stone brand for all we know. Like,
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
That could go any number of ways, because I was just thinking about that because you had brought it up earlier.
The one thing that I really noticed that I don't ever see, they focused a lot on Gigi after she lost, which you don't normally see that.
Yeah,
they showed her on the ground. They showed her in. Yeah, they showed her outside the ring, and unless they're building up a story. You know what I mean? Like, it makes me wonder if maybe Mandy is putting a faction together or something of all these, like, newer NXT girls or something.
That would be interesting to see. I would not be opposed to that.
Yeah, because I'll say that apparently during another new person's matches on this week, Mandy came out again. So it makes me wonder if maybe she's looking to recruit Gigi and the person that they show next week, this week. And kind of putting together this kind of faction type thing, which would be interesting.
I would be into that. I would like to see that. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see where they actually take it, but
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
a very intriguing proposition.
well,
right there. I
considering
would
that
like
NXT, yeah, considering that NXT lost Keegan, and they lost Shotzi, and they lost Aaliyah, you know, like that, they have to kind that replenish themselves and get more people, you know. So I think that's why you're seeing like the Zoe Starks getting a push, and the Gigi Allens. I mean, Gigi Dolan. You know she named herself after Gigi Allen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Priscilla Kelly, 100% named herself after that. If you know anything about her, she's totally the type to. I mean, her ex-husband named himself after Gigi Allen as well. Darby Allin named himself after Darby Crash and Gigi Allen.
Ah, so there you go. Yeah, I agree with you. That seems like a super solid guess.
Exactly. So, but yeah, like said, so I was more impressed with Gigi. I'm getting a Hideo Itami like vibes from Saray, where she's like, remember Hideo Itami? He was the Japanese guy they made a big deal of.
Yes.
And no one really cared about him, and then when Shinsuke Nakamura came in, people really didn't care about him. And then he eventually left and joined New Japan and is in Bullet Club now. But, like, you know, I get that feeling from Saray. I get that feeling that, like, people, like, you have Io Shirai, and Io Shirai has all this personality that Saray does not.
Yeah.
And it just, like, because they're Japanese in a Western federation, people are going to compare them, and that will not go well for Saray.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty hard competition to go.
Yeah.
You know, I get exhilarated every time I see Io Shirai because she looks like she's having the time of her life.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just being totally fearless and totally crazy and insane. Throwing her off of the highest thing that she could find.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, to go up against a personality like that is like, ooh. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty hard.
Yeah, so I don't see much of a future for Saray, even though she's getting a push. But I was really happy to see Gigi do so well, and I look forward to seeing more of her.
Yes.
So now we go to Dexter Lumis versus Santos Escobar. Really the end. Because we had a B-Fab from Hit Row come out. What did you? So I don't know if you've heard Chelsea and I's opinion on Hit Row, because I've said that it reminds us of the fact that I was raised by white people, and Chelsea is just like the whitest person from the whitest state. So like, you know, you have the Boricua vibe going on. So like, how do you feel about Hit Row? Because you are not as white as we are. So you're not.
I don't know.
I see them and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I think this is good, but I don't know.
I feel like I have to see them a little bit more before I can give a solid opinion, because this is like my first time. So I was just like, okay, I don't know.
Well, what do you think of Legado del Fantasma? Did I say that right?
Yeah, yes, okay. I love them.
Okay, good.
I love them. They surprised me when I first saw them fight. I was just like, okay. I was like, we'll see. These guys are like this guy's thugs and stuff like that. But then they blew my mind with their lucha madness. Their acrobatics are so freaking clean and on point, and it's so exciting to watch. I love those guys. Like, they are. I'm super into them. Like, I'm all about them.
Yeah, no,
at first I thought the gimmick was a little bit, the Escobar thing, but then they're such great fighters and they're so entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
That honestly, their gimmick doesn't even matter to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, just let me see you fight forever.
Well, that's the thing, and I think it really, like, if you think about like a person like Joaquin Wilde, no one, I don't think he would have gotten anywhere if he hadn't been part of this faction. Because he's just kind of like a cruiserweight who, like, is one of a million. Because, like, I'm sorry, I hate to say this about people on 205 Live, but most cruiserweights I don't really care about. I don't care about the cruiserweight title right now, and having it on Kushida makes me care even less.
I know you've always disliked him. So.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it is. I just don't like Kushida. But I think putting him in this faction, because Sanchez Escobar can talk.
Yeah.
He is a great fucking promo. He is like a main event level promo. Even though I'm sure if he ever goes to the main roster, he will not be a main event.
Yeah, who knows what would happen there?
Honestly,
I mean, main roster is like main roster is either a slim chance of amazing success, or they're gonna use you wrong and they're gonna destroy everything that we love.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is, well, maybe if Vince wants to have someone be an Alberto Del Rio who isn't like a rapist, he can put Santos Escobar in that position.
Oh my God. What have you done, Charles? I actually just barely kept myself from spraying iced tea all over my whole shit. Oh man.
Speaking of which, have you heard the shit that fucking Alberto Del Rio is doing?
Oh man. I don't want to go down that path. That makes me so freaking mad.
Because he's all like fucking threatening Paige and everything and going on about how like, I'm not the one who was arrested for domestic violence and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you were arrested for fucking kidnapping a woman. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, seriously.
Gross. Yeah. And him.
The grossest.
Yeah, like he's just a giant piece of shit.
Yeah, for real. Tremendous.
Yeah. Yet he still says he wants another WWE run.
Ugh, I hope they don't.
Yeah. I don't even think
I think his reputation's still a little too tainted. Yeah. I don't think they would take him back.
I mean, honestly, like, unless they got rid of Paige, I don't even think they legally could bring him in, because, she has all sorts of restraining orders and shit against him. So, yeah, no, he's just a giant piece of shit. So fuck Alberto Del Rio. but you already knew that. Anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, so Hit Row are waiting for Legado del Fantasma, and my note was, Jesus Christ, Top Dollar is fucking huge.
Super huge.
Like, he's a fucking big ol' fucking guy, man. Jesus.
Yeah. That always, that makes me, I like to see, every once in a while, you need that really big wrestler. You know what I mean? So I'm always excited when I first see one come in to see like what their moveset is like, and because it can be surprising sometimes, because there's like, acrobatics belie their size, and it's always like super exciting because you're like, oh my God, I did not expect that. I did not expect that.
Well, you got like the Keith Lee or the Dominic Dijakovic or whatever the fuck they're calling Dominic on fucking Raw, where it's Teabag or whatever the fuck his name is. I don't know. But,
tell me how you really feel, Charles. Tell me how you really feel.
Well, like I literally like would just walk into the Raw offices and just be like, all of you are fired. I don't give a shit. And you have like fucking Stephanie McMahon like, but no, you're fired too. All of you.
Gosh.
This is garbage. Everything here is just garbage. Stop this. Stop it now. But yeah. Top Dollar does some pretty interesting shit, actually. But the thing we want to talk about now is when after Santos Escobar has beaten Dexter Lumis, Indy Hartwell comes out to rescue him. I love her carrying Dexter Lumis from the ring. Was fucking awesome. And then he's too heavy and he falls, but she is right there on top of him, and it's this like look between them, and as though Index is and then Candice LeRae with the violent fucking push.
I totally ship Index, and I really like the interaction between. I like Candice positioned as kind of like this, like, overbearing, like, stepmom kind of vibe, you know what I mean? But she actually does like love that person, but also is doing all kinds of deranged and super bad, like, sneaky shit behind their back to keep them in their lane and stuff and in their control. It's great. Yeah. It's great. I love the way, and I totally ship Index. I'm about
the way are fucking great. The way are great.
Yeah,
So,
and I like this push for Indy too, because I feel
yeah.
like it was like a perfect like launch pad for her, and their
Mhm.
interactions are just great. Like they have a good chemistry with each other, even though it's hardly like he doesn't say anything. You know what I mean? He's just always just looming somewhere nearby.
Well, the first thing he'll say is "I love you." So, so now we go to KC Squared versus the Robert Stone brand of
And
Jesse
I know how you
Camilla.
feel about the
Yeah.
Robert Stone brand.
Jesse Camilla and Aaliyah. I'm not Chelsea. Chelsea despises the Robert Stone brand.
She really does. It's great.
Yeah, I think Robert Stone is a hilarious like comedy heel.
Yeah. That's how I feel about him.
Yeah.
I like the antics. I like, me. I'm about
I'll
it.
say, man,
You know?
Jesse Camilla is so much bigger than fucking Casey Catanzaro, though.
Mhm.
That kick she gave her right at the beginning, where she just went flying into the fucking turnbuckle.
He's like, let me just start this off by caving your head in,
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. Hold on one second, guys. We're gonna take a brief commercial break, and we'll be back in 2 and 2. I don't know,
Okay.
whatever the fuck we're back.
All right.
And we're back.
We're back.
So when we last left off, we were talking about the KC Squared versus Aaliyah and Jesse Camilla.
Yes. I always like to see KC Squared. They really do a good job. I feel like they have a lot of chemistry.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like this match. I'm a big fan. Like I said, I'm a big fan of both teams.
Yeah.
And I think KC Squared is one of those teams that you'd kind of want to be bringing up and, making teams fucking have to wrestle them in order to become over. But, don't listen to me. I've only been watching since I was 8. So, so KC Squares they win after the 450, and then Robert Stone gets in the ring to help Aaliyah, and she pushes him and starts yelling that I helped you more than you helped me, and she hits Robert Stone, starts beating him up in the audience. They were actually fucking an Aaliyah chant.
Yeah, it was surprising because I feel like she's never quite gotten over,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and we knew that a split like this was coming. It was clear as day,
Yeah, well, she kicks him. I love that there's a one more time chant. And then he gets a "you deserve it" chant after she beats him up.
I love it. Again, if he annoys you, that means he's doing his job.
Yeah,
correctly,
exactly.
Like that's his whole jam. He's so obnoxious, and I love an over the top obnoxious heel. So I'm about it.
Yeah. So now Frankie Monet comes out after Aaliyah is left, and she tells Jesse Camilla to come with her. And Robert Stone just kind of tags along, but
he's doing the classic, this was my idea all along.
Yeah. So now we get what you're talking about earlier with Samoa Joe coming to talk to the Way.
Yes.
And I love that they offer him a T-shirt.
And he looks not too pleased about it. What I like him so much in this role. I think it was a brilliant move to keep utilizing. I love Samoa Joe. He's always been really impressive to me, and I just really enjoy him as a character because he can get into some.
Yeah.
His feud with AJ is the
that was great.
Legend.
When he was going after AJ's family.
Legend. With the kids' book and stuff that he was reading on Christmas. I was like, come on, dude. When
that feud was happening is when Chelsea first saw wrestling.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that's her first memories of Samoa Joe is when that shit was happening.
That's great.
Yeah. So then finally, we also get the Robert Stone brand backstage, and Frankie Monet, when asked about it, says you're not going to have to worry about Aaliyah anymore. And then Mandy Rose comes by and says it looks like the Robert Stone brand is under new management. So, we'll see what happens with that. And then finally, for NXT, we had Karrion Kross versus Johnny Gargano with Samoa Joe as referee. Man, like, it's so funny how NXT builds up people who the fans just want to cheer for.
Yeah.
Because Johnny Gargano just turned heel like last year. And already he's just this giant face that they all want to cheer for.
Yeah.
And like earlier in the night, like Adam Cole is probably the most over guy in fucking NXT.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always funny how like they try to turn certain people heel.
But people just like them too much. Like, they're just too freaking lovable. So, that is certainly the case with Mr. Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, like unless he starts eating puppies, I don't think you're going to get people to boo Adam Cole.
Baby.
Yeah, exactly. And and that's the funny thing is they want people to cheer for Kyle O'Reilly, and no one's cheering for him because they like Adam Cole.
Yeah, I mean, he's just too good. I just like him. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's
got that magnetic personality.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, like I think Adam Cole just has this awesome and I'm bored with Kyle O'Reilly as a single person. I'm like, just put him back in the Undisputed Era. I don't give a shit about single Kyle O'Reilly. Fuck that.
They try real hard to make it happen. They're trying real hard to make it work.
But it's not a thing. It's not. It will never be a thing. So, hearing the Johnny Wrestling chant when Johnny Gargano is there, it made me realize literally the only person who's ever actually been able to stay a heel in NXT is Dakota Kai.
Yeah.
Everybody else just eventually is too popular. And they just cheer them like crazy. So Cross wins, and then he chokes out Joe at the end.
Oh yeah, and as I was watching this, I was like, oh, this is literally my notes. So say goodbye to your championship, Cross. Samoa Joe is about to make your life miserable. Like,
yeah.
That is like, ooh, that's not a feud I would ever call on myself,
Yeah. Yeah, like if there's anyone I want to get pissed off at me, it's Samoa Joe.
Yeah, so I look forward to seeing Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
As much as I like Karrion Kross so much, but oh man, yeah, no, you don't choke out Joe.
Getting to hear the dulcet tones of Funky Godzilla playing as because come on, that's what fucking Joe's theme is. It's Funky Godzilla. Yeah, totally. But yeah, so that is NXT. I love Cross while that's happening, yelling "unless provoked."
Oh man.
Finally, let's wrap up with Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, let's go.
So, I was very happy to hear how hot the crowd was for the women's match. Because, as someone who's been watching for years, I remember when women's matches used to be the fucking bathroom break during, like, the Kelly Bella twins years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. It was bad. It was bad.
And now to hear how excited they were, especially for Liv Morgan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I thought she put forth a great effort. Literally, I wrote, Liv Morgan unexpectedly stood out to me. I was just like, oh, okay, Liv, all right. Like, she had a lot more aggression on display.
Mm-hmm.
She was really putting her all into it, and it really made her shine in a way that I haven't seen her shine.
Yeah.
I don't think ever. I don't think I've ever gotten to see her shine like that. So I was very excited about that. I was not excited about Alexa. I felt like everybody was handling her with kid gloves. So I don't know if there was like some kind of, we know that she got injured before.
Well, Alexa does have a history of concussions.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it really felt to me that, every time that she came into the fight, it was slowing everything down. That I did not like,
Yeah.
But
I'll say I also love Liv Morgan coming out in Ruby Riot's jacket, by the way. I thought that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Liv she just stood out. Alexa, I was just like, okay, just get buried under ladders and let's focus on everybody else. Yeah, I didn't want to see her using her powers and stuff. I just wanted to see a crazy fight. You know, this Money in the
Yes.
Bank.
So we get Nikki Ash coming out. Not a good reaction for Nikki, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's the thing. I was, like I am very torn. Well, I'll get to it after this match when we'll really go
Okay.
into it. So,
Okay.
Natalya and Tamina come out to no reaction. Literally,
Yeah.
no one wants to see them win. No one wants them in this match.
Yeah.
You know,
It's unfortunate because they're both excellent wrestlers, but yeah.
yeah. Zelina came out with a huge reaction, actually.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah.
I like her new look. She
Well,
didn't
she was cosplaying as Akasha.
Oh, that's
Queen of the
why.
Damned. Yeah.
Okay. I liked it. It looked great on her. It was very cool.
Yeah, she had the crown was Hysteria Machine, by the way.
Oh, I love Hysteria Machine. They make
Yeah.
stuff. All of their stuff is amazing. Oh,
yeah, on her Instagram,
good.
they were reposting her because that the Akasha crown was a Hysteria Machine.
Nice.
Brad. And then Naomi comes out with a bigger reaction than Natalya or Tamina, but not a huge one.
I did like the costume. For this for Money in the Bank. That new costume is on point. It looks really good. And it totally works for her angle. Again, an angle that I am not super fond of, but she works it well. It's not that she's doing anything wrong with it. I just don't like the idea of the character, period. I don't think that she's doing anything wrong.
I find her so underwhelming.
I feel like she's her look is evolving to a place that I really like, and I want everything else to catch up to that. I do like her little Rob Van Dam move that she does.
Where she does the split. That was kind of impressive. Her doing the split under things and
yeah. Really cool stuff.
But the thing about Naomi is that honestly, I see her as a relic of the Divas division. She's a relic of a time where she would have been one of the top 3 people. And now she's not even in the top 25 because everyone's just surpassed her so fucking much.
Yeah.
So everybody starts fighting. Alexa at one point starts using her powers to try to get the briefcase.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Well,
and then she goes after Tamina first.
We don't know because Asuka suplexed her first.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have been amused if they had it at least shake a little before Asuka
that would have been neat. Actually.
Yeah.
They didn't go that far with it.
Yeah. And pretty much the only people who got booed in this were Tamina and Natalya.
Yeah, pretty much. They definitely, they're always just it pains me because I especially love Natty from back in the day. And they are both good, really great athletes, but yeah, they're just kind of like filler in between everybody else. They're like a backdrop for others.
Yeah, well, also the fact I hate the tag team champions being in the Money in the Bank match. I absolutely hate that because once again, you're devaluing the tag division. Even though there's barely a tag division, but this does not help it. This really doesn't help it.
It doesn't help.
In fact, you know what would have been smarter? If you brought up Shotzi and Tegan as solo people and had them in this match. I think that actually would have been smarter, but whatever. Once again, I've only been watching this since I'm 8, so. So, there were a lot of spots that were interesting in this. I think everyone wanted Liv Morgan to win it.
It would have been really cool, but I wasn't mad at Nikki Cross winning. I gotta say, I've always really liked Nikki Cross, and I've always I loved her when she first came out with Sanity, and I kind of miss that character. I feel like that was the one
I miss that character a lot. In fact, that's the Nikki Cross that I wish we were seeing.
Yeah, and then it started to come back a little bit, but then with her with Alexa and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but it was still a more friendlier version than the outright aggressive version of her that I loved. No, she was just like a wild. She was barely human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was like a feral,
Yeah,
woman.
well, I remember when she used to bite the ropes and stuff.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. And I kind of miss that. But I wasn't mad to see her get
yeah,
money.
I was disappointed. Um,
Why?
because I really wanted Liv to get it. I think Liv, storyline wise, is the one who deserved it. Liv is the one they've been building up. And Nikki is just on random stories on Raw. Like I feel like the briefcase is a waste even being on Raw. Which we should talk about because as we know, I mean, this would normally be covered next week, but since we're not covering Raw, we'll talk about it after Rhea Charlotte. We'll get to that.
Okay. So let's do that. Let's talk about Rhea Charlotte.
I don't know. Like I said, and I hate to be the one to root against Nikki Cross because a couple months ago we were complaining that Nikki Cross wasn't on TV and Lana was on all the time and they weren't using her. And now they're using her, but they've given her this she's not even like a Hurricane ripoff. She's like a Rosie ripoff. And that's not a good gimmick to have. And I know that apparently it was her idea and she's the one who pitched it, but still, I just think it's a silly comedy gimmick, and I think there's a ceiling on silly comedy gimmicks. I think they're not really good for a wrestler's career long term. Yeah. And I really hate when a silly comedy gimmick has a title. Unless they're a heel. It works with, like, the New Age Outlaws, it worked. With the Honky Tonk Man, it worked. But as a face, a silly comedy gimmick, I think, is just a dead end, and it devalues the title that they have.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So we go to Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Really nice reaction for Rhea.
Oh, yeah. People were going nuts. I like the new graphic intro with all the chains hanging off and stuff like that. That was super cool. I was into it.
And then, Rhea looks great. Charlotte comes out, and I realize Charlotte doesn't get cheers. She gets woos and she gets boos.
Yeah. Woos and boos. Very polarizing person.
And I wish the commentators wouldn't spend all match just kissing Charlotte's ass.
I did think that she did a great job. She looks really lean and muscular. Yeah. And she actually did a lot of really good fighting in the match.
Well, the one thing that I can give Charlotte for credit in this match is that she actually sold for once.
Yeah.
Because Charlotte normally just no-sells everything and makes her opponent look like shit.
That's true.
And I like that she actually sold.
Yeah. No, this was like she made the fight was an entertaining fight. Like I had some doubts about it,
Well,
but
that's exactly the thing. It started with "We Want Becky" chants.
Yeah, I did hear those. And
ended with "This is awesome" chants, which shows that they actually managed to win over the crowd.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that was the fact that this time Charlotte sold, because Charlotte has a big problem with not selling for people. And it devalues her matches when she does that.
Yeah.
Because when she turns into Charlotte the Golden Shovel, it just it's boring. Who wants to watch that? It's the reason why I hate John Cena matches. But there were some really nice spots in there. I love the Rhea kicking out of a natural selection from the top rope.
Yeah. That was cool. That made her look stronger and like oh my god, like this person is defying the odds. You know what I mean? Which is what she's that's what you're supposed to be getting.
Yeah. And then Charlotte reversing a Riptide into a DDT was kind of neat.
Yeah.
But you know what? I really hate seeing Charlotte win. I knew
you were going to say that.
Completely devalued Rhea.
Yeah. Well.
And it just makes Rhea just another person. And now Rhea's going to have to do the fucking Oscar redemption bullshit, where she's going to have to just be a nobody for a year until people start noticing her again.
I don't think she's going to be a nobody. At least I hope not, because I love Rhea. So.
I mean, what's she going to do? Fight Nikki?
Oh.
I mean, and you know what I mean? And then get beaten by Nikki in her superhero gimmick?
No, that would be bad. Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Is
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
they've now written Rhea into that corner now, where like, see what good booking would have been is Charlotte loses, Rhea wins, and then Becky Lynch comes out and challenges Rhea.
That would have been good.
Because number one, people wouldn't if the WWE seems determined to make Rhea a heel. If you want to make her a heel, have her fight Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Because people will 100% cheer for Becky. And then you can make Rhea as dastardly as you fucking want. And if she loses to Becky Lynch, then that's fine. Because Becky Lynch at least doesn't bury her opponents when she beats them. You know? But, like, with Charlotte, it's just like, oh, of course, Charlotte's going to be fucking title reign number fucking 11 or 13 or whatever the fuck it is. And it's just boring, and I'm not here for it. That said, I can understand why if you're gonna have Nikki win it, because you can't have Nikki beat Rhea Ripley for it. You know, because then that runs the risk of Nikki being booed if she beats Rhea Ripley for it, and she's supposed to be a face in her superhero gimmick. So her beating Charlotte, I can see why I guess you'd want Charlotte to become the champion. I wonder what Chelsea has to say about that. Well, here's a recording of what Chelsea had to say.
Oh, hello, boys and girls. This is me, Chelsea, just popping in. I miss you. I just wanted to comment on Nikki ASH and this Charlotte Rhea thing. So this is like, you know, I haven't actually seen Nikki as this giant, as this like superhero type thing. It's thoroughly entertaining. It's absolutely absurd. But I mean, it was fun, and at least Charlotte is not the champion. I miss you again. All right, I'll see you later. Back to you guys. Oh, that was lame.
All right. Thank you, Chelsea, for that opinion. But yeah, no, like I'm not. I don't know. As I said, I'm really torn.
Yeah,
really torn.
I knew you would be. I knew you would be because it was, you know, just as a fight, it was a good fight. I really enjoyed watching it. You know, they're two great athletes.
Yeah.
Crap out of each other. That's what you want to see. You know. Even with I like that reversal that Charlotte was trying to do the sunset flip, and then Rhea interrupts it, and then she reverses it into the standing vertical suplex. Now, that is not a move you usually see women of
Rhea is ridiculously strong.
Yeah. So, but I could see even with their timing was slightly off in getting into the move. But both of them worked so well together to actually make that move happen. Like I just, as a fellow acrobat, I was like, yeah, ladies, way to make that work. They muscled that up, and it was impressive looking. So
I mean, that match, I'm not, as I said, like it's like watching a movie that has an awful ending.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I love everything about the movie,
for example,
except the end.
Yeah, like, for example, the movie Red State. I'm watching this movie, I'm like, Kevin Smith actually directed this? Are you fucking kidding me? This is great. Kevin Smith has never directed anything that's this fucking good. And then the last 5 minutes of it are like, this movie is bullshit. Fuck this movie. Like, and it didn't matter how good the beginning of it was. The ending was just such bullshit, it made me hate the movie. And that's how I feel about this match. I hate this match because of the ending. Because I knew you would. even like I said, it's just to pad Charlotte's fucking title reigns. Because Charlotte's been like a 1,400 time champion, whatever. How many of those title reigns are less than a week?
I don't know.
Think about all the 5 times her and Sasha Banks went back and forth.
Yeah.
That was like every other week they were changing the title.
This is true. They were shooting hard.
Yeah,
and
Charlotte was champion for what, like 24 hours? And she got cashed in previously by Bailey, and she got cashed in previously by Carmella. All the day after she won a title.
Yeah.
So it's just typical fucking Charlotte booking, but like I'm I'm torn because, like I said, I love Nikki Cross, but I don't love what they're doing with her. I don't love this gimmick.
I'm hoping that it changes. I'm really hoping.
The rumor is Vince loves it. Of course, Vince would.
Really?
Yes.
Of course he would.
Yeah, because Vince sees it. Vince apparently sees it as something that, like, they can do community outreach, and she can speak to kids and all this other stuff.
I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Another reason for me to be like, Raw is bullshit. Fuck Raw.
Yeah, I understand you.
Yeah, poor Rhea. I hope in the draft she gets traded to SmackDown and actually has some real writers.
Yeah, that would be nice. I would like that.
Yeah. Give Raw fucking Otis or some shit. And, like, you know, let Rhea and Shayna be able to come over to fucking SmackDown.
That would be nice. I would really dig that.
Yeah, so
let's keep our fingers crossed for some.
Yeah, so that was the week in women's wrestling. So, Rose, what was your match of the week?
My match of the week. Oh man. I know. I can tell you who my wrestler of the week is. My wrestler of the week was Meiko Satomura because I was just mesmerized by her and her vicious and unrelenting destruction. Opponent. I was just super into it, you know.
Well, I'll say my match of the week, and then you can think of yours. But my match of the week was Dakota Kai versus Ember Moon.
Yeah, that was fucking good. You're right.
Yeah. And my wrestler of the week, and it's just simple bias and the fact that I love that she's on TV. It's going to Gigi Dolan.
I like it.
Because I think she showed why she should be on TV more.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I would have given it to Liv Morgan because I think Liv Morgan also just really impressed in that match.
She actually was absolutely one of the most impressive matches I've seen from her in a long time because she put a lot of heart into it and they let her shine. I felt like I was seeing a whole new wrestler.
Even if she didn't win, which she should have.
Yeah.
No one deserved that more than Liv Morgan.
Yeah, she's put in her time, but you know, I'm not mad that Nikki Cross won, but I do agree with you that the new angle is so whack, and it's just like she can be so much cooler than that. And it just seems like a cheap way to get her over. Unnecessarily, like I'm supposed to forget that she was like grungy feral trailer trash when she first came out and just accept this new like plush character.
That's one of the things I loved about Sanity is that they legit look like squatter punks.
Yeah, they really did. They looked very crust punk. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
like they all look like you'd see them on fucking St. Mark's with a dog.
Yeah, or like in New Orleans or something. You know what I mean? Like
like you'd catch scabies if you hung out with Sanity. Like, you know.
Yes.
Like, but I loved it. I thought it was such a unique gimmick that you never see anywhere in wrestling.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It looked like it was put together by people who are actually in like the fucking punk scene who've seen people like this, you know? And, you know, once again, another fucking Vince McMahon wasted fucking gimmick. You know, which, funny story, by the way, according to Killian Dane, they were going to reform Sanity in NXT last year.
Oh, really?
And then Vince fired Eric Young, and so they couldn't do it anymore.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but that's why they brought Killian Dane Alexander Wolf into Imperium. Because they were going to have an Imperium versus Sanity feud. Oh,
that would have been good.
Yeah.
Man.
Like it was going to be both sides trying to get Alexander Wolf to be in their team.
Yeah.
Because he was in both factions. Yeah.
That would have been a really fun.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of I would have expected like a bunch of mind games and then just some vicious throwdown fights. You know? Like that would have been really cool.
I mean, fucking Walter fighting Sanity, like that would have been fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So I'm that's another giant missed opportunity with the in the history of WWE missed opportunities. Which
Yeah, that would have been cool. It would have been like chaos versus order. You know what I mean?
That's exactly
like,
what. Yeah, that's exactly what Sanity versus Imperium would be.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh man, now that you made me think it, now I'm sad.
Yeah.
Give me this sense of loss for something I didn't have, Charles. Thanks.
Yeah, no, that would have been fucking great. It's in those like wasted opportunities or like missed opportunities. Like Chelsea Green being in Survivor Series instead of Natalya. Like that would have been cool, but she broke her arm that night.
Yeah.
Like she broke her arm like 10 seconds into the match or something like that. Like on her debut on Smackdown, which is really sad.
That is the saddest thing that I can possibly imagine. Like, here's your big chance. Here you are. And then it's just like, snap,
Yeah, because she was supposed to get a big push after that, too.
Oh.
Yeah. And then they ended up firing her eventually. So, instead of the big push that she was going to get. So
got the big boot instead.
Yep. Now she's on Impact wrestling with her boyfriend, and I'm sorry, I don't give a shit about Zack Ryder. Or sorry, Matt Cardona is the name. He's going by his real name now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. At Slammiversary, they had a match with Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green versus Neil Dashwood and Brian Myers, which requires you to have way more investment in the life of Zack Ryder than anyone should actually care about. Because it's him versus his ex-partner and his ex-girlfriend.
Yikes.
But you wouldn't know that unless you've been really paying attention to fucking when he was Zack Ryder. And who really gave a shit about him when he was Zack Ryder?
I mean, I was into him. I thought he was amusing. And I thought he was really good at marketing himself. Because he had like a lot of like those little shorts on like YouTube and stuff like that. Like he was using that kind of stuff way before people,
do viral marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I did think that part of him was I just thought that he did a good job, and it was all him. It was just all him putting together his little fake show and stuff like that. And it was like, he'd try to like get all these other actually like over wrestlers to be guests on his show and stuff, and it was well done. Like he tied it all together really well. So
and then of
on
course
the
WWE, and then WWE had him get thrown off a ramp in a wheelchair by Kane, and then John Cena made out with his girlfriend, and he just went back to becoming a jobber, and that was great for his career. Thank you, Vince. Such great writing over there.
Burn.
Yeah. So what was your match of the week? You did not state.
Oh yeah, no. I am gonna go. I'm gonna go with Ember and oh
Dakota.
my gosh, my brain. Yeah, sorry.
Ember did not fight your brain. Ember fought Dakota.
No, Ember and Dakota.
I imagined the Ember Moon versus just a brain. Ember Moon would win. She would just like kick it a couple times. It would squish on her boots, and then she would like win.
But what if it's like a big, mega mutated brain with like tentacles and stuff? Like not just a brain.
Well, then if there's
like some
tentacles
kind of Dr.
involved,
Robotnik kind of.
If there's tentacles involved, this is now Legend of the Overfiend. So there's going to be a lot different ending. So anyway, guys, on that lovely note. Toshio Maeda, don't sue us. So I want to thank Rose for being part of it.
That's me.
And possibly Chelsea will be back next week when she is back from the urban wasteland known as Chicago that has no internet nor electricity, where people run wild misnaming pizza and
and not putting mustard on hot dogs.
Do they do that over there?
No, I'm sorry. No ketchup on the hot dogs. Put mustard on it, but no ketchup. Like that's like a sin. You can't even ask for it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
It is.
But yeah. As I said, I'm just gonna keep going on about the lasagna they call pizza. That's all I'm gonna say. So anyway, peoples, we want to thank you for listening. And
Thanks,
where
everybody.
can they find you, Rose?
I am on Twitter, RosebloodVOX. I'm also on Instagram. I just got onto TikTok, so also RosebloodVOX. I don't have that much on there.
I was
But
going
the
to say a
fan
lot
page,
of videos of you flossing.
No, there's the Cut Like This TikTok page has been super active lately. We've been doing
Yeah.
a lot of really cool videos and working on like some green screen editing and stuff like that, and covers and fun things like that. We're gonna add in some of our like a really tiny encapsulated versions of our anime and horror reviews and stuff on there, but obviously super short compared
Yeah, I was
to
going to
what
say,
we have
I'm
on
not sure
YouTube.
how you can get an anime review within 60 seconds. Where it's
Oh, that's
like,
exactly what we're gonna call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I really liked it. And then it just cuts away. Tentacles.
Oh man, you're the worst. The worst.
Brian can floss in the background, as you're saying. But yeah, like, I can be found on Instagram at charles.d.lincoln. I am not on TikTok because I'm an old, and we have no need for your ticking and your talking, and that would require me to like film shit within fucking 60 seconds. And if you know me, I am not able to be brief about anything.
No, you're not. You're not. This is a true
I
thing
have
about
opinions, God damn it. That's why I'm not on Twitter, because I'm limited in characters and I can't express myself fully. However, Beyond the Bell is on Twitter at Beyond Z as in zebra and Belle as in Belle from yes. And you can find Chelsea and I together at CL Squared Productions on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram, as well as you can listen to our other podcast, which we will update once Chelsea is back in society, where we're going to do the original Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm going to tune into that one for sure.
That is anchor.fm/CL Squared Productions.
Bum ba da bum. Oh,
Yes.
also, cutlikethismusic.com, my actual website where you can
Woohoo!
access everything.
Everything.
All the things.
Not just your stuff, everything. Like
All
you can
the
find
things.
you can order sprockets on there and lasagna.
And with that, we
Yes.
leave you, ladies and
All
gentlemen.
right, people. We'll see you later.
All
All right,
right.
take care, everyone. And thank you, Rose, for being on the show again. All right, bye.
Bye.